Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com, and in this tutorial we're going to look at checkbox menu items. So if I run this app here, at the moment I've got this there's this rather nice menu up here. This doesn't actually do anything yet, and I've got this sub-menu here. And in this tutorial we're going to change this person form sub-menu into a checkbox menu item, and that's going to show and hide this person form here. So I'll go to the mainframe class here where I create my menu, and in addition to being able to add menu items and menus to menus, you can also add J checkbox menu items, and there's also a J radio menu item, and here we're just going to look at the J checkbox menu item. The J radio menu item works basically like radio buttons, and you add them to a button group, and it's pretty much all the same. But I'll leave that as an exercise for you in the interest of keeping these tutorials reasonably short. So here I've got my window menu here, and I'm here adding the show menu to the window menu, and the show menu I'm creating here, and the show menu I'm just adding a show form menu item to it, which is actually just a menu item. So if I go up to where I've declared that, which is, it's here, and I'm going to change this J menu item to a J checkbox menu item. Let's add the import there, and I'll change this variable declaration, although I'm not sure it actually matters. So if I run that, you'll see what it looks like already. I can just go to Windows, Show, and it's got a nice checkbox there which I can check, and I can uncheck it, so it's magic. And I want to set this initially to checked, so if I want to actually use the methods of it, so then I probably do need to change the variable as well, the variable name. So I'm going to use set selected, and I'm going to set that equal to true initially. And now in the last tutorial I mentioned that you can add action listeners to your J menu items, and I'm going to add a action listener. I'm going to add some action listeners here, and I'm going to start with this show form item here. So I'll say show form item dot add action listener, and let's make that new action listener, and just the same as for a button, and implement the unimplemented action perform method here. Let's maximize the editor with Control N, and I'll get rid of some lines here, and now I can actually just if I want to reference the show form item here in here, I could just make that final, or I could also just get it from this event here. So I could say event.get source like this, and I know the source in this case is going to be a J checkbox menu item, because that's what I've added the listener to. So I can cast that to that, and I could create a variable here, menu, let's just call it menu item equals, and then I can say I want to show or hide the person form. So this main frame has a bunch of instance variables, and one of them is this form panel that contains the form that I've been working on in the last tutorials. So I'm going to just say form panel dot set visible, and this also works with dialogues, by the way. You can show and hide dialogues, which we'll look at later using set visible, and I'll just say that is visible or invisible depending on menu item dot is selected. There we go. So just in case that was a bit confusing, Here I've chosen, just to show you an alternate way of doing this, I've got the menu item from the source of the event here, but I could just have used, this is basically pointing to the same place as this variable here, and if I declared this variable final here, in other words constant, I could have just referenced that directly here. But oh sorry, not there, of course, that's where I'm using it, but where I declare it, so here I could declare that final, and that would enable me to reference it in here, which I just mentioned in case you're not too familiar with referencing stuff from methods of anonymous classes like this. So anyway, let's run that. And now, so if I go to the window menu and I go to show, that's ticked because I set it to selected to start with. But if I untick it, then my form has gone there, which is rather nice. And if I tick it again, then it's back. There you go. That's it for this tutorial. You can also add icons to a menu. But in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at mnemonics and accelerators, which is not completely menu specific, but it's very useful stuff to know. So join me again then, and until then, happy coding.